Welcome to the Lions Terrace Ministry. This is Reverend Liz Jackson. Today's sermon is Reality. Enoch tells us what space really is. Heavens and the Abyss. NASA means to lie, part 3. So, please, I am urging you to wake up now. You're being lied to, and NASA was founded by the occult and uses Nazis along with others to lie to you. In part 3, most of the information used will be from NASA's own website again. And I won't read all of Enoch to you, but we are going to recap in Genesis 3:13. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Beguiled me is Hebrew word H5377, and it's pronounced NASA. And it means to lead astray, i.e. mentally, to delude, or morally, to seduce, to beguile, to lie to, deceive, to mentally lead astray, and to morally seduce. These are the traits of NASA and the rest of the world governments. Again, take out the H in NASA, the Hebrew word, and you get NASA. Just like all names have been modified to hide the truth, so too has NASA. We are going to recap on Genesis 11:4-8. And they said to our go-to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men built. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of the earth, and they left off to build the city. The city again that they are talking about is Mystery Babylon. The mystery is the whole earth this time, and not a localized town destroyed in Genesis. NASA can't get to heaven and has not left Earth. Not now, not in 1960s and 70s. And I pray that you understand this, for Abba Yah is coming back soon, and it is time to wake up from the lies and follow your Creator. So, what are the planets? Jude 1:13-15 states, ranging waves of the sea, foaming out their own shame, wandering stars, to whom is revealed the blackness of darkness forever. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord cometh with 10,000 of his saints, to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. So we're going to look at some of this information in Jude 1:13-15, and the first word we're going to look at is wandering. Wandering is Greek word G4107, and it means a rover or a planet. Figuratively, an erratic teacher or wandering. It occurs one time in that verse of Jude. And when a word says from, it means its origin. So we need to look at G4108, because wandering comes from G4108. Everything that I've been saying about NASA, if you have eyes and ears to hear and see, will also make sense when we look at Jude. Again, Enoch is a key to understanding this world. So G4108 is planos, of uncertain affinity, and it means roving as a tramp by implication, and impostor or misleader, a deceiver, seducing. And that's exactly what it means. It means a deceiver and seducer. It means corrupter, misleading, error. We find this word used 5 times in 4 verses of the Greek concordance. And it's important to note we are being led astray, and it's time to wake up from your deep comatose sleep, also called collective amnesia, and come out of the delusion of lies. Remember in parts 1 and 2 where we touched on the Nazi founders of NASA? Hitler has a famous quote, and he states, if you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, it will be believed. So again, G4108 matches 5 times in 4 verses of the Greek concordance of the King James, and I will read each of those 4 verses to you. It's found in Matthew 27:63, saying, Sir, we remember that the deceiver said while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again. So they were talking about Yahushua HaMashiach in that phrase, and not his followers, but the people who didn't believe him and called him a deceiver. 2 Corinthians 6:8 says, by honor and dishonor, but evil report and good report as deceivers, and yet be true. 1 Timothy 4:1, now the Spirit speaks expressively that in the later times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Well, the biggest doctrine of the devil here lately, because NASA's back in the news, is NASA. If you can follow an organization that was formed from Nazis who killed millions of people, if you can follow something that has occultic ties by the founders themselves of NASA, if you can believe the lies and secrecy of brotherhoods like the Demoules and the Scottish Freemason rites like Buzz Aldrin, why can't you believe that you are being lied to and the Lord God Almighty is showing you this? Again, Hitler has a famous quote, if you tell a big enough lie and tell it frequently enough, it will be believed. Again, in parts 1 and 2, they started telling this lie 10 years before NASA actually took flight, through their movies and through books and with NASA's help. So you got to put common sense and truth together, and the true word of Abba Yah has to be included with everything that you look into these days. Second, let's see, there's another verse that states, for many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist, and that's 2 John 1:7. Sorry, it was abbreviated and it took my brain a second to click into what 2JO meant, but that's 2 John 1:7, and states again, for many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Jesus is come in the flesh, and this is a deceiver and an antichrist. So again, whenever people are telling you that Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, hasn't even come, they're an antichrist. When they're trying to sell you on what the heavens and the abyss and what the stars, who are actually angels, are, they want you to believe big balls of gas. That's an antichrist. There are many antichrists out there in different shapes and forms, and NASA is one of them. So we're going to look at a photo of what stars actually look like. And why do stars twinkle? because it actually looks like they are placed in a layer of water. Again, God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven." Psalm 147 verse 4 states, "He telleth the number of the stars. He calls them all by their name." Planets, again, are stars and not planets. And I wish my podcast listeners could see this photo, which you can when you go to the Lions Tears Ministry website for part 3, and you can actually see the real way stars, aka planets, look as if they're underwater versus CGI made by NASA. And on the website, there is a picture of Saturn, Mars, Neptune, and Venus. Did you know that NASA has an art program? And this is from nasa.gov. The earliest movement for collaboration between art and science at NASA came to fruition in the creation of NASA's art program in 1962, just 4 years after the agency's establishment. After viewing artist Bruce Stevenson's commissioned portrait of Alan Shepard, the first American in space, NASA Administrator James Webb requested the artist create portraits of every NASA astronaut. He also began to envision all that artists could do for NASA. In a March 1962 memorandum to Hidden T. Cox, NASA's public affairs director, Webb expressed his interest in creating a NASA art program to commemorate both past and future events. It goes on to state, the artwork created through the NASA art program shaped the stories of early space flight into a popular American mythology, one that inspires a sense of national pride and shared accomplishment. As Dean remarked, the artists were really missionaries for NASA. I mean, they were carrying the message out like nothing else would. That statement alone is enough to make me go, OMG, NASA is lying. If that statement and Hitler's and knowing that NASA was formed by occultists and Nazis don't do it for you, I don't know what else will. Again, I have a comparison of Saturn versus CGI Saturn, which is what you're always shown. And Saturn, again, looks like it's underwater. So what are missionaries? Missionaries, or a missionary, is a member of a religious group sent into an area to promote their faith or perform ministries of service, such as education, literacy, social justice, healthcare, and economic development. Again, we know from parts 1 and 2 that Freemasons and the cults found NASA along with the Nazis. People are waking up now, and people are waking up now, and they are not doing everything, and they are doing everything they can to stop it. I had skipped the line, I'm sorry. However, it is, I feel, too late for that because Abba Yah's return is soon. He keeps telling me that. That's why every sermon that I've been doing, he keeps saying, my return is coming soon, and has me working overtime. And sometimes I just get exhausted. Like, these sermons are spiritually exhausting. So sometimes I lose my breath and I can't talk, but that's okay. So, I mean, we need to understand this. And there you have it. NASA again confesses that early American spaceflight was a myth, which is a widely held but false belief or idea. Again, we have been lied to. NASA used artists as missionaries to carry out this message. He used artists such as Kubrick, who is a film director, Walt Disney. He used Arthur C. Clarke, who is a writer. And all of this was collaborated to sell you the big lie that Hitler just stated. People, brothers and sisters, the world doesn't want you to know who you are. The world doesn't want you to know your Creator. And that is why they lie to us. They set out to build a city of their own. And again, the mystery is the world is Babylon. And we are ruled under the Roman Catholic Church government, because their ruler of Babylon sits in Rome and is the pagan Pope himself, and always has been the popes since the time of the Roman Empire took into fruition. The Roman Empire never died. The monarchy of the Pope never died. And the ruling power of all of this has never died. Because we have to remember, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and spirits and rulers in high places. So the definition of a myth by the dictionary: myth is a traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people, or explaining some natural or social phenomena, and typically involving supernatural beings or events. And it is a widely held but false belief or idea. Brothers and sisters, your widely held false belief is that you had a government send people to the moon and you can't even leave Earth. That's the truth. And we're going to look at Enoch chapter 21, the whole chapter, and understand some things further. Enoch 21, the whole chapter. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic, and I saw there something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it like great mountains and burning with fire. Then I said, for what sins are they bound, and on what account have they been cast in hither? Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels, who was with me, and was chief over them, he said, Enoch, why dost thou ask, and why art thou eager for the truth? These are of the number of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here till 10,000 years. The time entailed by their sins are consummated. And from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former, and I saw a horrible thing, a great fire there which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. Then I said, how fearful is the place, and how horrible to look upon. Then Uriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said to me, Enoch, why hast thou such fear, and art affright? And I answered, because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, this place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be imprisoned forever. The book of Revelation and Enoch go together as well. John saw the beginning and the end in his vision. Some parts of Revelation have occurred already, and some are still to come. Revelation 6, 12 through 17. And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig casts her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? I will have sermons on the seals and trumpets coming soon as well, for we are living out what John wrote in Revelation now. And if you can't see that, I pray your eyes to be open. Revelation 8:10 through 11, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of water, and the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Revelation 12, verse 4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and it cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Mark 13:25 through 27. And the stars of heaven shall fall, and the powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory. And then shall he send his angels, and shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from the utmost part of the earth to the utmost part of heaven. Now, those are verses on stars. Stars for a reason, because stars fall, stars are angels. And the secret to the survival of the fallen angel demons is that they know how to subtly deceive and spread the information to the masses worldwide. They are obligated to tell the truth, and just like NASA saying things that catch the attention of a few, many cannot see that they have been telling us the truth in videos, movies, books, and yes, on their own websites. Everyone learns from a young age what stars and planets are not. It is time to learn what stars and planets really are, and they are the angels. Indoctrination is how they do it. Again, the entire world is Babylon, the leader is the false prophet, the unholy pope, and the beast is your governments. All governments are the same. Again, names have been changed to keep up the charade, and people are waking up to this grand illusion, which is a song by Styx. And truth is being spoken. People just choose not to listen because they enjoy being lied to. I, on the other hand, hate being lied to, and lies hurt, lies cause deception, and I firmly believe a lie is a lie no matter how big or small. Lies divide, and that is what the fallen angel demons have done. They have divided the world from Abba Yah and left a remnant whom they call crazy and laugh at. My question to you is this: Abba Yah is coming. Are you ready? Because the events I just read in Revelation, they have not happened yet. They haven't. The Lord God has not returned yet. Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, the Lamb, has not returned yet. But the book of Revelation and Enoch, they do go together. And again, Enoch chapter 21, the whole chapter, talks about the number of the stars of heaven which transgressed the commandment of the Lord. If stars are big balls of gas, they can't transgress and commit sin. I'm sorry, they can't. That's not what gas like oxygen and helium and our elements do. So, again, my question to you is this: how long are you going to believe the lies of Nazis and the cult and secret societies? Or are you going to start taking the true word of Abba Yah to heart and start learning what it is he needs us all to know in order to understand why he has to come and reset the earth to make all things new. And yes, brothers and sisters, Enoch even talks about the end days and the day of the Lord and the coming of the Holy of Holies and the King of Kings and Lord of Lords and the Lord of Spirits, which are all names for Abba Yah. Enoch saw the beginning and the end, which is why Enoch and Revelation go together. John saw less than what Enoch saw because Enoch lived in the beginning, but Enoch was taken through the whole timeline too. And that's why Enoch was hidden from you. Enoch knew about Yahushua HaMashiach. There's sermons online posted on that already that I will deliver here soon. Enoch talked about our end times and what we will experience, just like John did. Enoch gives us the same information like John saw concerning the coming of the day of the Lord. Brothers and sisters, right now we are living in the first resurrection. And if you want to continue to believe that planets are just big balls of rock and gas, you have a thing called free will, and you're able to do that. But when NASA says the artists were really missionaries for NASA, promoting their faith and ideas, I can't get past that. What I really couldn't get past was how the United States took murderers and pardoned them to create a space agency. And not just murderers of one or two people, but millions and millions of people. So again, the reason why Abba Yah has to return is because there is no real justice on this earth until his return. We all cry, we want justice, we want equality, we want to end oppression. Our governments are the ones keeping us oppressed. And again, that's what the Lions Tears Ministry stands for. Living in oppressed nations. Truth, attitudes, reality, education, and society. Those are the keys that the Lord God Almighty, Abba Yah, has told me to teach and preach on. And when reality comes to check you in the face, it hurts sometimes. But we are in an enclosed system. All civilizations have known this, that there's a firmament above the world and that no one can penetrate it. No one can last in the Van Allen radiation belt without melting. We've proved that in part 2. So it's high time that you let go of your indoctrination and really take hold of what the Lord God is telling you. Because he's numbered the stars and he calls them all by his name or by their name. And he wants you to understand that he is a God of love and not a God of division. And sure, things have happened, but everything works for his good and his glory. Either you're going to come to him and run to him and build a relationship with him, or the information in the world are going to keep you separated from him. You can't have both. You cannot serve the Lord God Almighty and this earth. It's not possible. That makes you double-minded. And double-minded is enmity with God. So you have to make a choice on what it is you choose to believe. I, for myself, teach this to my children just like I teach it to you. And I know they have to form their own opinions, just like you have to form your own opinion. But again, I'm just a messenger. I'm always going to do what the Lord God Almighty, Abba Yah, asks of me, because that is who I was created to be, his servant, who brings you information. And whether you have eyes and ears to hear or see, that's no longer my job. He tells me to write, so I write while he says I will save. And I say, okay, because I know I can't save anybody. I know that. I'm not God. I am not Yahusha. But what I am is his messenger. And so I ask you again for one final time, weigh out everything. Look into everything. If I can use NASA's own website and catch them in things such as the artists were missionaries promoting our agenda, then that makes me wonder, what agenda are they promoting? And then to find out again that NASA was founded by Nazis who killed millions of people, and the occult, I have a problem with that. And so should you, if you claim to love the one true creator. Again, I'm not the only one who has investigated this information. There are plenty of YouTube channels who have vetted this information and made videos. If you would rather watch a video than listen to me talk, Google some of this. I think I included, let me look. No, I did not include any videos on this one, but I know I did on the first one. So in part one, there's a video where I actually got the timeline of events from about 4 years ago when I first did this study. And Abba Yah told me it was time to write it up in a sermon and deliver it to you guys. So I did that. Just like I did with Noah dividing the earth between his sons. Reality changes when you actually learn the true word of Abba Yah. And it's for his glory and not your own. And that is something people have an issue with.